Kyle Richards' daughter, Farrah Brittany, just purchased a new house. Since earning her real estate license in 2011, Farrah Brittany has become one of the top-performing realtors in the Los Angeles area. Her expertise in the luxury market has helped close multi-million-dollar deals for both sellers and buyers alike. And yes, that includes herself. On Monday, May 19, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills' daughter announced she had moved out of her former LA property and purchased a new home. Farah showed off the fresh digs in an Instagram video, highlighting her incredible living room. Get a look at Farrah Brittany's mid-century modern living room. "When I saw this one, I just knew she had to be mine," she captioned the reel. Slowly but surely coming together. The interior went heavy on the mid-century modern vibes, as it featured exposed wooden beams, a brick fireplace, multiple skylights, and floor-to-ceiling windows that looked out to the backyard pool. Maybe a couple tweaks down the road, she wrote about potential updates, but it's way too good to butcher. Farah decorated the space with a balcony-arched sofa, wooden side tables, art pieces, and a potted dracaena installed by Planteria Latina. Beautiful stained glass windows framed her black front door, which matched the built-in shelving units that displayed books, pottery, and other chic knickknacks. Kyle Richards, Alexia Umansky, and more react to Farrah Brittany's new home. Farah's mom, Kyle Richards, responded to the video with a series of heart emojis, while her little sister Alexia Umansky described the home as heaven on earth. Rhobh cast member Dorit Kemsley also congratulated Farah on the move and complimented the living room decor. "So beautiful." Dorit wrote, "Gorgeous taste you have." Another Instagram user asked Farah where her two adorable cats were. "They're here," the Beverly Hills daughter replied, loving their new home. It's unclear when Farah moved into the house, but it seems she wasted little time settling in. Farrah Brittany family updates. Farah, who is Kyle's firstborn from a previous marriage, shared the update after a couple of big family gatherings. She and her sisters hit an LA nightclub for a pre-Mother's Day celebration with Kyle and Farah's stepdad, Mauricio Umansky. About a week later, the family reunited at Kyle's Encino home to celebrate Alexia's engagement to her longtime beau, Jake Singerman. The happy couple is expected to tie the knot on September 6 in Aspen. A house of her own. A new door opens. The May sun cast a golden hue over Los Angeles as Farrah Brittany stood in front of her new home, keys in hand, a surreal blend of nerves and triumph fluttering in her chest. The black front door, framed by exquisite stained glass that glinted like jewels, gleamed as if it, too, were waiting to welcome her in. She exhaled slowly, turned the key, and stepped inside. The scent of fresh wood and a hint of lavender from the new diffuser greeted her. Her black heels tapped lightly against the gleaming oak floors. The living room unfolded in front of her like a page from a dream she'd once dared to have. The room had a cinematic presence. Exposed wooden beams stretched across the ceiling. A brick fireplace anchored the center, and a cluster of skylights cast the space in warm, natural light. Floor-to-ceiling windows at the far end revealed a shimmering pool dancing with sun reflections. Her two cats, Coco and Milo, wove between her ankles, clearly approving of the change. Farah smiled, setting her handbag on the balcony-arched sofa that curved in harmony with the room's natural lines. "This is mine," she whispered, "all mine." Making a house a home. The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. Planteria Latina delivered an impressive dracaena that now stood like a silent guardian beside the window. She spent hours arranging and rearranging art pieces, positioning wooden side tables just so, and making sure every book and piece of pottery on the built-in shelves said something about her, about who she was now. After years of helping others buy and sell multi-million-dollar homes, she had finally found her own sanctuary. It wasn't just a house, it was a declaration, a milestone. She posted a video of the living room on Instagram. The reel quickly went viral within her circle. "When I saw this one, I just knew she had to be mine," she wrote. Slowly but surely coming together. Within minutes, her phone buzzed with love. Kyle Richards, her mother, responded with heart emojis. Her sister Alexia chimed in, "Heaven on earth." Dorrit Kemsley added a chic, "gorgeous taste you have," that made Farah blush, even if no one could see it. But it was a comment from an anonymous follower that gave her pause. "Where are your cats?" She smiled and replied, "They're here, loving their new home." And they were. Milo had already claimed the sunniest windowsill, and Coco had taken to curling on the sheepskin rug as if it were designed just for her. The echoes of the past. Despite the joy, the house came with a silence that was both peaceful and a little too loud. For the first time in a long while, Farah lived alone. No roommates, no overlapping family noise from the hallway, no echo of her mother's voice or the sound of Alexia and Sophia bickering over the TV remote. It was just her and the house. One evening, as she sipped red wine and gazed into the fireplace, she'd yet to light it but still enjoyed its presence, she remembered the early years. Earning her real estate license in 2011 felt like both a leap and a lifeline, away from the protective nest of her high-profile family and towards something she could build herself. She had always been the poised one, the planner, the composed daughter who managed to steer her career with a quiet kind of tenacity. The eldest of the Richards girls, but sometimes the most solitary. There had been many nights when she closed a deal for a luxury client, walked them through the pristine marble of their new kitchen, only to return to her rental feeling like she was still just the realtor, not the homeowner. Not yet. But now she had keys in her hand, windows that opened onto her own sky. And most importantly, she had built this on her terms. Visitors and visions. Kyle came by the next Saturday, bearing a housewarming basket full of organic candles, fresh sage, and a bottle of vintage Napa Red. "You did it," she said, hugging Farah tightly. "You really did it." They sat on the sofa, sipping wine, their legs curled beneath them like old times. Kyle studied the stained glass with admiration. "I always told you that you have an eye," she said. "I learned from the best," Farah replied. The front door chimed, and in came Alexia, freshly engaged and glowing, Jake Zingerman trailing behind her. The two of them were so clearly in love that the room felt warmer just from their presence. "Can we do the tour now?" Alexia grinned, already peeking into the kitchen. Farah led them through each room, her narration a mix of excitement and vulnerability. The kitchen was her next project, still functional, but she had visions of terrazzo countertops and maybe a skylight or two. The bedrooms were modest but serene, the bathrooms awash in white tile and soft gold fixtures. "I swear," Alexia said, "this house has a heartbeat. It feels alive." They ended the tour in the backyard, where Farah had already set up a few lounge chairs and potted lemon trees. "It's not done," she said, "but it's starting to feel like me." Real estate and real emotions. Work never stopped. Farah was still a top-performing realtor in the Los Angeles luxury market, and now clients saw her differently. She was living the lifestyle she sold. Her phone buzzed with a new client inquiry, a celebrity looking for a Malibu cliffside property. She typed a quick response, already plotting the tour in her head. But as she hit send, she looked up at the framed photograph on her shelf, her as a young girl, standing in front of the first house she'd lived in with Kyle. Back then, she never imagined owning anything like this. Now, she was the woman in the photo, multiplied, and still growing. Nights alone, dreams afloat. Some nights were quiet. Too quiet. Farah would light candles and settle into her reading chair, a glass of wine in hand, a vintage jazz record playing low in the background. The cats curled close, centuries of solitude. She thought about love. She had dated, some highs, some heartbreaks, but nothing had taken root. Her career had always come first, and truthfully, she wasn't sure she'd met someone who made her want to split her space, her life, her sacred quiet. But this home felt like a beginning, not a waiting room. The kind of place that could eventually hold love, or more. She looked around and saw not what was missing, but what was possible. A housewarming to remember. The official housewarming party happened 2 weeks later. The guest list was intimate: family, a few cast members from Real Housewives, and a handful of longtime friends and real estate peers. Fairy lights lined the fence outside, music floated through hidden speakers, and a private chef prepared tapas in the kitchen. Farah floated through the rooms like a hostess and a queen. Everywhere she turned, someone was complimenting the stained glass, the wooden beams, the overall vibe. Kyle raised a glass at one point and called for quiet. "To Farah," she said, glowing with pride. "You've built this with grace and grit, and I couldn't be prouder of you. This house isn't just beautiful, it's earned." Cheers erupted, and Farah blinked back tears. Later that night, after the guests were gone and the cats had resumed their window posts, she sat on the brick ledge of the fireplace, heels off, hair unpinned. She whispered into the room, "Thank you.